Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. In this video we want to take a look at the Bitcoin chart again, and I want to show you also the alternative wave count. As not much is happening in the markets, but I feel you also need to be prepared for an alternative scenario that could unfold, which I don't think is very likely, but we need to be prepared for it, especially as currently we see a lot of sideways movement and the market seems to be very indecisive at the moment. Therefore, let's take a look at the current imminent wave count. But maybe first just a higher level wave count reminder for everybody. So we're looking here at the scenario that we moved up in a 5-wave move in a wave 1 in April. We are now in a wave 2, which is correcting this wave 1. And this wave 2 consists of an A, B, C. We had a low of a wave A back in June 21, a high in a wave B, an overshooting wave B. I would normally allow as a maximum, the wave B to overshoot the preceding wave high by 200%. So we would allow the 200% multiple, to say it like that. So you can get the 200% extension. That would all be possible in an overshooting wave B. We've seen it across the crypto market this year, especially in such a young market. Not necessarily Bitcoin, but for altcoins, we can see that. That is extremely difficult for a wave B, therefore, to detect such a wave B, because they can overshoot the previous wave high, even though they are actually corrective waves. They are part of a correction, but because I think my justification for this is because we had such a bullish environment end of last year that a lot of people thought, right, we will get this 100k Bitcoin, we will get it. A lot of people pumped money into Bitcoin. That drove Bitcoin much higher than it normally would have come probably in this corrective wave B. Other coins, for example, like VeChain, they have done a normal wave B. They have done a normal wave B, which was lower than the beginning of the high of the previous wave. Other coins like ADA did a much more overshooting wave B, and that was basically because of an event, the Alonso hard fork back in September. But anyway, this is where we are here with Bitcoin, slightly overshooting wave B, and we are now in this wave C, the last wave down, but it is of course long. We hit my target area that I announced in November, December, so Bitcoin followed very nice this roadmap to the downside. We have finally arrived in the target area. We've actually left it to the upside again, and what do we now expect for Bitcoin next? So this here is my imminent wave count here, for me at the moment most likely scenario, and this basically assumes that we have made a wave 3 low down here on the 12th of May. After that we moved up in a WXY corrective wave pattern to the upside here and completed also a wave 4, which means the next wave down would be a wave 5, and that wave 5 could be unfolding already. In a wave 5, again, it is a 5-wave move. A wave 5 is an impulsive wave. It moves into the direction of the higher level trend. That means it is impulsive. It moves down fast. And we've possibly already seen the beginning of that. When I zoom in here on the 1-hour chart, you can see it from the top of that wave 4 that we moved down here in a wave 1, 2. Moved down in a wave 1, moved up in a wave 2. Down in a wave 3, usually the most bearish wave in a downtrend. Then we corrected that to the upside in a wave 4, and we then moved down in a wave 5. That finished off here. That's how I see it currently, a wave 1, a higher wave degree wave 1, because again, a wave 1 consists of 5 waves, and we could now be in this wave 2. Now the wave 2, I put here a very important resistance level for the wave 2. That is at 30.7k. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see that, because the wave 2 is far too small, or let's say it hasn't retraced enough really for a wave 2 yet. And after that wave 2, we would expect a wave 3 down. That would be quite a lot of a sell-off. That could happen next week, for example. What I need to say to that is that this sideways movement takes very long at the moment. And the longer it takes, for me, the more likely it is that we also have to consider a different wave count again. That is one that I mentioned to you already. It is basically related to what you see here on the chart already, the WXY. It would just assume that the wave Y here was never finished, and that we are here in this wave, that we are still, when we started this wave Y, from here, from the wave X low, that we are not finished yet with this wave Y, and we can take a look at that on the chart again. So I'll put it onto another chart just to really show you where where is it really most likely that we retrace to, right? So let's take a look at here a different chart, and let's just label that again just to show it to you more clearly. So again, we would assume also here in this scenario that we made a wave 3 to the downside here on the 12th of May. And again, in both scenarios, after this thingy has finished, this wave, after this wave, we would expect a move down, because here, in this scenario that I just explained to you, you can see the roadmap following down. This scenario assumes the wave 4 here peaked already at round about 32.4k in the yellow target area for a wave 4, because the wave 4 here also retraced into the perfect area where it would be, where you would expect it for a wave 4. We then saw a strong reaction, and therefore we have a case here to make that we say, all right, the last wave down, the wave 5 has already began. It has already begun. We're already in this impulsive wave down. Will make a lower low compared to the low of the 12th of May, and we'll finish it off somewhere here in the low 20s. That's how I currently see it. Can the price drop below 20k? Absolutely. As long as we are in a downtrend, we are in a downtrend. But this is a roadmap that we can follow that gives us with a high likelihood the right outcome. Now the alternative for that is the wave 4 in fact isn't finished. We can put again that target area on the chart again. Let me just check from where I started the retracements from up there. So we could do that again. So here for a wave 4, the retracement, and here we need to be careful, because here on this exchange actually, this is Bitfinex, we had a slightly different price for the low on the 12th of May. Here it was 26.5k. So bear that in mind. This was here Bitstamp. On Bitstamp it came down to 25.5. So just be aware of that. But what you do from that swing high here, which is the beginning of the wave 3 to the low of the wave 3, we use the retracement tool, and the wave 4 would ideally come into this price region between the 38.2% fib level and the 50%, maybe the 61.8, but let's keep it with the 50% fib level. The minimum was already reached. The minimum for a wave 4 is the 23.6% fib level at 30.4k. That was reached. So I take it off the table, but the ideal retracement level would be the 38.2% fib level here on Bitfinex. That would be at 32.8k. Here on Bitstamp that was 32.1, basically, because the wave 3 down here had a different value, and that then shifts the fib levels. In the end, it doesn't make a big difference, but it shows that on some exchanges that wave 4 ideal target was reached. On some exchanges it wasn't. In the end, it doesn't make a big difference because the minimum requirement has already been reached. But this alternative example here would assume that we haven't actually seen that wave 4 peak yet, based on the alternative wave count. And as I showed you on the previous chart, we would assume that we are still in this WXY pattern, and we can count this here as a wave W. We can count this here as a wave X. Well, actually it would be, let me just double check here, 1, 2, 3. This would be the wave X low, and then we would be here still in a very long wave Y. So I guess we can count this as the wave X low, or this, because there are different possibilities, and that would assume we are still here in the wave Y, and that would then be an A, B, C, because the wave Y consists of 3 waves. So this would just be the alternative, and then we would get still here into the region between 32.8k and 34.8k. And before we then, however, move down. Again, very, very tricky. Very difficult really to work out which scenario is now going to work out. What I can tell you for my primary expectation, which is this one, and I make it very clear this is my primary expectation, but we have to have the alternative we have to keep an eye on the alternative as well, you know, until one of them is confirmed. So here, this one, the primary expectation would be confirmed, I think, as soon as we break below that 28.6k, very important, and then yeah, ideally the 28k level. Yeah, so I think the 28k level is the more important one to the downside. And invalidated would this, so this scenario would not be invalidated actually until we break above 30, pretty much 32k. So only if we break above 32k, this scenario will really be invalidated, unfortunately. Yeah. No, it's actually not 32, it's actually 32.4k, unfortunately. Yeah. So only then this scenario will be invalidated. So this wave 2 could theoretically go all the way up to 32.4k before it comes down. And this other scenario here would make a higher high compared to that 32.4k level. In the end, both scenarios are very similar. Yeah, in both scenarios, we would expect here a little bit of a move up. In this second scenario, in this alternative, it is actually that we're going to make a higher high compared to the swing high here. And in that scenario here, we would expect to make a lower high. Now, where exactly that will be, extremely hard to tell. I think the first resistance will be here, that wave 4 high at 30.6k. So these are the two scenarios I'm currently looking at. I think maybe when we have the weekly candle close, we can say more really, yeah, because usually we saw here last weekend as well, I think on the just after the weekly candle close, we saw quite a bit of volatility. And usually what we've observed here in the last few weeks, there has always been some volatility around the weekly candle close, some movement after a usually boring weekend, because there just isn't a lot of volume. Yeah. So this is what we're looking at here at the moment. Hopefully you liked the update about Bitcoin. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.